Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here, the man who talks to machines. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, before we start over here, and we're going to talk about some more psychic gym practices, the critical methods, and easy, fun ways of building your energetic bodies to project energy out to get higher results from anything you do. It's very, very important that you understand that and practice these simple things. But before we do that, formulate a question in your mind and let Yoda give you the answer. Never. Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about a cool little automatic dice rolling machine. And that's exactly... you can get these again, eBay, Amazon, the usual places. And this actually tosses the dice for you. It runs on a couple of batteries. You want to get the one that actually has a cover you cannot see inside of it. Now, the easiest way is to find a die, the usual dice, 1 to 6. But, you know, there are many different dies out there that you can find. Again, you can find these online that have something more interesting. Now, one of the problems with anything to do with the biophysical, the psychic, is that your mind is bored very easily. So anytime you use creative shapes, creative designs, your mind is stimulated so that you are more interested in your task. And most people fail with their psychic practices because of the fact that they're just bored. So always make things interesting and fun, and don't force yourself to produce. The key to learning and building psychic powers is to do things at high enthusiasm for very short periods of time often. And I found this particular way of doing things is definitely very effective. Also, you don't want to fake anything in terms of pushing something, guessing, etc. You want to let it happen, and you have to understand that as you start off and as you do these practices, which you want to do often, that you're not tied to the outcome. It's going to take time to energize and to get things right in your consciousness. So the fact that you didn't detect the right number in the cup, it's meaningless, and don't give that positive or negativities. The main thing is repeat, repeat, repeat at different times when you're feeling energetic. If you're tired, don't do it. If you're not into it, don't do it. As I said, you got to do it at times when you're positive, when you feel good, and this is very, very important. And you never force anything. And it's not a concentrative effort, psychic empowerment. The number should pop into your head. It's not like I'm going to concentrate real hard and it's going to come to me. No. You relax, you let the energy pop usually into your third eye, the center of your forehead, and by doing that, you will get the number. Now, again, here's one of these. As I said, it's an automatic dice rolling machine. It just spins around here, and by spinning that with the dice inside of it, it flips it, etc. So you want to try and detect what's in there. So you just put the dice in there, the die 1, and then you trigger the button here. You can hear it flipping around there. When you're ready, just stop it. And as I've mentioned, you have to make sure you have a color cover that is dark. Some of these come with clear covers. Obviously, for this purpose, is not good. And of course, as I said, you can get these online. I'm not sure what they run, $8 or $10, somewhere in that area. So it's another inexpensive tool that people can use in the psychic gym, your occult gym, where you're building these energies. And then, of course, you actually want to determine by relaxing. There's got to be a number from 1 to 6. So your possibilities of success are 1 and 6, which isn't necessarily too difficult. But everything is difficult. Even 50-50 can be difficult at times. So you just want to relax and think about what comes into your consciousness? What number? And again, it's not concentrating, it's not forcing it. What just pops into your mind? Because that's how all this stuff works. It pops into your mind. And again, this is very important as you build your energies and powers so that you can use this in other areas of your life. And this is always a problem with people because they expect everything to just happen. And people tell you, well, everybody's got psychic power. Not really. Everybody has a certain capacity, like people have a capacity to do most anything. But the bottom line is that you have to develop this energies, and you do that by doing it often. This is some little practice you ought to do if you're trying to build your energies up 5, 10, 20 times a day. I mean, you do it every time you feel like it. Place it on your desk or wherever you're at, and you just grab it and do it. It's not like I'm going to plan to do it at this particular time and place. You certainly can do that. But you want to do this repetitively. As I said, the key to this is do things for very short periods of time often. So you do it when you're feeling good, when you're into it. You do it for very short periods of time. You do it often. Spending a lot of energy in developing these kind of abilities are counterproductive. Your energies that deal with these things burn out within 3 to 5 minutes. It's over. So the whole idea is to stop before that. Don't give positive or negative results to anything, and let the numbers. So it's a number from 1 to 6, and what pops in your head. And then once you get a number popping in your head, again, don't overthink it. Don't try and be logical, etc. There's no logic to this. There's no way of rigging this per se. And if you do, what's the point? The whole idea is that what is the die number that is up? It's number 2. Do you see that? And I would repeat this 3 times. You just have to press the button once. It's already changed. Relax. What came to your head? Do it again. Just have to press it once. And here we go again. So you relax, and what image did you get projected into your forehead, your third eye there? And that's the one that, of course, you should use. Now, as I've mentioned, there's lots of different dice. This makes it more interesting. 1 to 6 is kind of boring, but of course you can get those dice everywhere. Here was taken from a particular, I don't know what game this came from, but it has a lightning bolt on it, a moon. Here's one with weather on it, raining, cloudy, sunny, or partly sunny. So finding stuff like this is always fun and interesting, and we highly recommend it. Which one is it? And generally what you do here is you're going to write down on a piece of paper each one of that's on here. Raining, sunny, etc. And you write that down on a piece of paper here. The same thing here. You'd put moon. What else is on here? Sun, Saturn. You write that on a piece of paper so you know what is here. You don't want to think about, well, what's on the dice. You just want to have the impression by looking at a list, well, which one on the list here is facing up. And, of course, there's always fun things to stimulate. Here is something called a sex dice, which has sexual positions on it. You know, all these kind of things stimulate, making it interesting for your psyche. So look for weird, unusual dice. It may have a particular symbol on it. Dragons, stars, they may be interesting in that fashion so that you can actually have something that's different from 1 to 6. Now, 1 to 6 is pretty boring. And it's as simple as that. So you want to move on to something else. And if you use a regular 1 to 6 dice for a while, well, have several different ones like I have. And then you can use these as you need them for the actual process of using this tool. So these are very simple tools. If you use this, and of course, let's not forget the feeling pouch, which I showed just recently, of how you feel for things, because this allows you to build your visualization and using your other senses other than seeing. And this is what you're doing here. We live in a world of seeing constantly, everything you look at. And this, of course, closes all your other senses down. And of course, that's one of the tricks to getting psychic messages is close your eyes when you're trying to bring something to you. Now, again, you don't want to force it. You want to just let it pop into your head. Well, what number popped into your head? And as I said, you just put something down. You can press it once or 2 times or 3 times, depending on what you feel best, and that may be something that you determine as well. What do you feel is the number of presses to roll the dice that you are being told psychically to do? So that was 3 times, and of course then you relax and say, well, what's under the cup from 1 to 6? So there's the 6, and of course that's how it works. Very simple tools, and if you use these all the time and you start getting good at it, where you actually detect, you don't guess. There's no such thing as guessing. Guessing is, again, just throwing things to chance and is sloppy. What you're doing is you're detecting. What do you detect? What are you sensing that dice is on? And you could visualize yourself going into the actual cup, see your consciousness going in and looking at the dice that's underneath there. By kind of, you could call it remote viewing, as most people understand it today. So enter into the cup. What is that actual dice that is face up? What number is it? So that's another technique of doing it. As I said, all this stuff is not about tightening up and forcing your mind to work. It's the opposite. You want to relax and you just let that number come to you. And again, how many times? Let's go with 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, what exactly is that particular dice in the what number is up? Now, again, you could remote view it. Just enter into the cup. What do you see there on the actual die? It's just but again, it's relaxing. It's not going to force it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to concentrate. It has nothing to do with concentration. Concentration is for boring, common tasks. And this is not a boring, common task. So you say to yourself, well, what's underneath here? I would say 5. So it's 5. So the whole idea is that's what you do to do all that stuff. And the more you do this, the more you relax with it, the more that you understand the process, the greater results. But if if it takes a while for you to get this technique, as the same with the feeling pouch, that's just the way it is. Don't give things judgment. This is not an area of judgment which negates you. It's very important that you go into things with a positive attitude that you can be successful at this. And generally, it's important when you do something that you end being successful if you can. No matter what technique you do, make sure that you end it with a success, that you walk away from your practices, that you did get it right, whether it's the feeling pouch or this or whatever else. Generally, you want to try and do that. It's a little harder with this one because how do you make something come out the way you want it? Other things are easier, like with the feeling pouch, there are large items that you want to feel in there so that you walk away from that successful. So remember, you do things at high enthusiasm for a very short period of times often. And short periods of times means a couple of minutes, maybe a minute. It's amazing how long a minute is when you're sitting right in front of something and doing it. So it's not like doing things for 10, 15, half an hour. We find all that is very counterproductive in this area. You want to do things before you've tired out your psychic abilities, which happen and generally burn them out within anywhere from about 3 to 5 minutes, and you're done. So you don't want to do that. You want to go through the process, and whatever happens, happens. Then you take it, you put it to a side, you do whatever else you're going to do, and then whether it's 10, 15 minutes later or 2 hours later, you do the process again. And you build this, as I said, by doing things very often for that very short period of time. You could try this 2 or 3 times. That's it. Put it aside. Come back in hours or minutes, whatever fits into your schedule. And it's as simple as that. So it's a fun, interesting way, and it's very important that you keep all these practices fun and interesting. If you bring this down to schooly work, I got to go to schooly and learny this. Well, most people have a very negative attitude towards that. They basically feel that most education, which basically is true, is worthless. I mean, you learn so much junk that has no value in your life. And of course, most people, I think, particularly in lower education, high school, etc., weren't exactly happy with their time there. So you don't want to bring up those feelings and energies while you're doing this. You know, this isn't learning. This is building a skill that you need and will use. Remember, all scalar, radionic type machines all work off of consciousness, as does this whole area. So your consciousness has to determine what's going to happen and what energies that you are going to project or sense, etc. So you have to shift over to consciousness energies, which is not in any way based in common practices that you are accustomed to. It's not about working hard and memorizing and doing all the nonsense that school teaches you to learn a bunch of useless skills. Usually, it's a totally different way of learning, and it's critical that you keep it fun and interesting. Very, very important. So with that, you should be very clear. Check out the touch pillow video if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. You can also join our Patreon to get more information, uncensored information that is given to my particular membership people. This all helps, and of course, just by subscribing and leaving a like here, you help the channel. Until next time.